Hi, today we're in the North York Moors National Park. It's the 18th of August. I was up here in early August, and although the heather was flowering, it wasn't that widespread, it wasn't that colourful. 2 weeks later, and it's been much better today. Lots of colour, and there's a limited amount of wildlife up here at this time of year, but the red grouse standing in the heather is what I've come for. So lovely colourful settings to set the bird off in. I've been reading that it's been a very poor year for grouse numbers. Many young birds this year didn't survive the very wet spring we had, and the number of days shooting is going to be greatly reduced. It's always surprised me that this is a species that's so tame and approachable when it's a bird that is heavily shot. You'd think they'd be very nervous of people. But from the car at least, they're very easy to approach. This picture is taken with the lens wide open, so the background is diffused, but some of the heather is out of focus too. So here I've closed down to f14. We've got more of the heather in focus, but the background has come a little bit more into focus too. When you're working from a car window, I use a beanbag. Over the years I've used all sorts of fancy mounts, but I always come back to a beanbag. But importantly, it's full of chickpeas, it's heavy. You don't want one of these lightweight beanbags full of polystyrene beans. The weight is important, that gives you stability, reduces the vibration. It's the same with tripods. You don't want a lightweight tripod, you want a heavy tripod. If there's any movement caused through the lens here, it's because the car is rocking slightly. You could hear the sound of the wind there, you can see the heather blowing about in the wind. It's a blustery old day and you can see the vibration in the picture, especially look at the bottom of the rock rather than the heather. Now in this clip in the video editing software, I've removed a lot of that vibration. And that's quite simple to do, but it also crops the picture slightly when you reduce the vibration. So if I go back to the full frame picture, there you can see the grouse is slightly smaller in the frame. Now it always does that when you use vibration reduction, it crops the picture slightly and it can be a problem. But this clip there's no cropping and I've got rid of the vibration, but I'm doing it in Topaz Video AI, which I'm new to. I've only started using it this morning and it seems an amazing bit of software, and this is just one of its many features. It's not cheap, about $300 US, but so far I'm very impressed. We'll just look at a few stills pictures. I liked it when the grouse came out onto this rock because now you can see the feathered feet, which you can't normally when they're in the heather. And when you've got a bird in a position like this, you take as many pictures as you can, horizontal, vertical, small in the frame, big in the frame. And I also wanted some pictures where there was no horizon behind it, I just got heather. And to do that, I got out of the car. If you're nimble enough to be able to get across the gear stick and handbrake into the passenger seat, then you can open the door and gradually get out onto the roof to get that higher elevation. Your body is still hidden by the car, so the grouse accepts it and you avoid the skyline. I started off this morning about 6:30 and it was okay up until about 10 o'clock, and then the traffic started to build up, and it's not just cars, it's cyclists, people walking, a motorcycle just coming the opposite way now, and it's a very narrow road. Even to get a motorcycle past you, you've got to pull over. But of course if there's people walking and cycling up here, it's no good me following them because the grouse will have been pushed away as they walk past them. So you only get the first part of the day when photography is possible. Then you've got to go find something else to do. One of the things I was looking for was ringoozles feeding on the rowan berries. I don't really understand why I didn't see any, because ringoozles breed in this area in good numbers. This isn't this year, this is a few years ago. But this is my hide set up on a ringoozle site. This is the male. And the female. And you would think by now they'd be feeding on those rowan berries. I've filmed it before in Wales, but I've never seen it in Yorkshire. So this is one of my Welsh pictures from a couple of years ago. I did come across this rabbit on the side of the road. It was obviously very ill. It got myxomatosis. I got out of the car, no problem stalking it. It can't see. Its eyes are completely sealed up. Very sad thing to see, and this one isn't going to survive very long. And a barn owl, which I photographed one evening, but this is just outside of the national park. Quite poor light. This is 6400 ISO, 6/40th of a second shutter speed, but still comes out nice and sharp. Now let me just show you some more amazing things you can do with this Topaz software. Now we're watching this grey heron at normal speed. It was actually filmed at 60 frames per second, so I could slow it down a little bit, more or less half speed. But I haven't. Here we're watching it at normal speed. Now you can slow video down in post-production even if you haven't shot it at a faster frame rate, but it simply means that each frame is on the screen for longer. So look how jerky this is. I've slowed this down to about 10 times slow. Each frame remains on the screen for 10 times longer than normal, so you get this very jerky slow motion. Now this is when I've just slowed it down in PowerDirector, my normal video editing software. But the next clip is where I've slowed it down in Topaz Video AI. I've only done this morning, and it's just amazing what it can do. So this is the Topaz clip starting now. So again, it's about 10 times slow. But look how much smoother it is when this bird's head starts to go down. You've lost that jerkiness. I'm going to do some more videos where I talk about Topaz Video AI. At the moment, I'm just getting used to it. But for my early experimenting, I can't see any need to shoot slow motion anymore. You can shoot at normal speed and slow it down and get just the same effect. It's an amazing bit of software so far. Thanks for watching.